Hi, thank you, and welcome to the Me First podcast. And this is episode 18. And today we are talking about something that is pretty close to my heart, menopause at work. This is a place where we put ourselves first without guilt because obviously, if we don't, who else will? But before I go any further, I would like to say hi and how are you and how was your trip to my wonderful cousin? Was it a good trip?
Hello.
I was wondering how long does it take from Canada to Spain?
Well, from Montreal to where we live in Costa del Sol, it's called Malaga Province, and our
Hmm.
house is just 40 minutes away from the airport. It's 6.5 hour flight direct.
Oh, that's
But
not bad.
no, not bad at all. But the thing that's not really not that good is we have to drive from New Brunswick, our house in New Brunswick, to Montreal, and
Uh-huh.
that's like a 5.5 hour drive, and then we fly 6.5 hours. So that's
Wait, is there
yeah,
no way to
it's the
fly
drive.
from?
There is, but we have to drive
That
to
sounds
Quebec. It
got
is,
it.
and it's going to be harder if we take a small flight from Quebec to Montreal because we have the dogs with us, and
True.
yeah, they were in the hold, so it's not easy for them
Oh
to, for
no,
sure.
poor puppies. I guess,
Yeah,
that probably would have been better for them. I mean, at least they get like a comfortable 5 hour drive. Okay.
exactly.
Well, either way, it's beautiful and you're going to be there for several months. We're
Seven
going to be
months.
that is going to be crazy. But the other new thing that I was wanting to talk about is ta-da!
I
We are so
know.
incredibly
Yeah.
excited. Our products are getting here. These are actually part of our packaging that we're showing everybody today, but I want to highlight the excitement because it's real. And gosh, you guys need to understand how much love and inspiration and passion and everything was put towards putting this together. So we want to make sure
Yes.
we share that with everybody. But this is awesome. I'm back after, gosh, a whole month of hiatus. I've not been feeling well. I traveled
Yeah.
for work and I got airplane cooties, and here you are. You look beautiful.
I know it's been a while.
I was
Thank you.
just,
You didn't look yet like you got sick. I was
girl.
telling you. I'm telling her all the time. She's like 51 years old, but she looks super young.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the hair dye. But that was pretty crazy. I traveled for a little bit. I was back and forth. I was in California and then I went to Florida. I came back with the airplane cooties and it has to be the worst. I was sneezing about 50 million times right before we landed in Colorado, and right after that was just downhill. And it was crazy. And then I had to travel to California. It was just anyways, speaking of work, let's talk about work. Menopause at work. Some of us are still working on site. Some of us, like myself, are now working remotely. But either way, we are all experiencing perimenopause or menopause. And sadly, very few workplaces are talking about it. So let's talk about it. What is your experience? When you were still in the office, have you started getting symptoms yet or not quite?
Fortunately, I was already working from home.
Okay.
That's when I moved to Canada, so I was working from home. So I was really very fortunate enough to having all of these symptoms and not affecting a lot of people like in a office environment, right? So yeah, that was good for me.
Well,
How about you?
absolutely. If you think about it, right? Hot flash in meetings, brain fogs while you're doing presentations. I've seen some of those. Actually, that's one of the things that I've experienced and I have been very cognizant about. Because when you're trying to present to a group of people and you have a brain fog moment, it's kind of embarrassing and it feels isolating. And I think these are the things that we need to kind of talk about because women hide their symptoms, especially when they're at work, because they don't want to be perceived as being less capable and emotional. That is kind of a
Exactly.
triggering word. And so I feel like today there's an absolute lack of awareness and sadly an unfair judgment because of the lack of empathy from everybody. And this is from both all sexes, I should say, because of the lack of empathy towards women who are going through the change. Because a lot of people still, unfortunately, to this day, do not understand what is going on. So I see a lot of those challenges. Have you chatted with people at all? Do they talk about their experiences? I'm gonna tell you, with me and my coworkers, we do. We get a lot of them. So, any conversations around you with the people that you see regularly?
Well, not so much before. Not before I asked them was when I started like making sense of what's happening with my body. That's the time I just asked, but no one really talked about it with my friends and stuff. Probably because they think that most of our friends back home are a bit older than me, so I think they're more advanced in their symptoms or whatever. Or they probably assume that I am not there yet, so they don't talk about me. But yeah, when I was making sense of my symptoms, it was me who asked first. That's why I never knew about the word perimenopause. I didn't know that it starts that early. I really had to crawl my way in and just do all of the work. I zero from zero. It's crazy. So
Yep. Well, once again, it goes back to the embarrassment that comes with wanting to chat about the symptoms that you
true.
have. And so your immediate kind of action would be not say anything because it's embarrassing, you know? And, if you're going through a mood swing, people come back to you and either say, oh my God, she's old, or they'll say, she's just being emotional. And it's kind of sad and annoying, when people are out there labeling you as emotional. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, when you have a lot of these symptoms and you're manifesting a lot of these symptoms, you kind of become labeled as weak, even though, really, truthfully, perimenopause and, eventually menopause and postmenopause is really just a biological transition, if you think about it, because it's just like puberty. Your body is going kind of through a transition, but unfortunately, society still until today treats it like it's taboo and like you don't talk about it. So yeah, that's a lot of the things that we really need to make a change. So going from that, let's talk about solutions. Any thoughts? What are I have, because I still am like very deeply enmeshed in the corporate world. I could probably come up with a ton of solutions, but let's hear about you. What do you think? What do you think should we be working towards
I think
in terms of solutions?
we just have to continuously talk about it and be open about it, because I can see from ever since menopause and perimenopause has become lately, it's been more popular. There are more influencers who are talking about it, right? So and then I was reading some of the news lately that they are working on bringing a bigger budget when it comes to menopause. Like in the workplace, they're giving them a menopause leave, something like that. And so yeah, the more we're aware of it, the government would be able to give women the support that they need, like what they do to men, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I think it was about a month ago. I read that Rhode Island is the first state in the U.S. that passed a law that requires employers to provide reasonable accommodation for women going through perimenopause, and I think that's so exciting
Nice.
because
Yeah.
to me that is us kind of advancing to what that future looks like for us. Because truth be told, companies should be normalizing menopause and all these conversations, and they should be having all these wellness programs and advocating for flexible work policies, because we definitely need this. We have this for what do you call them? We have this for maternity leave, and there's no reason for us to not have it. You know, we should have cooler offices and workspaces for what do you call them? For hot flashes and stuff like that, right? My nose is running. I have a little bit of an allergy going on, but We definitely have to kind of advocate for cooler workspaces. In the US, I don't know in Canada or any other country, but we have employee assistance programs where we kind of are, they make what do you call them, therapists available for us. And so
Mm,
as we go through kind of mental health transitions and stuff like that, I think,
wow.
employee assistance programs should also include programs for us, for, to kind of promote and support our mental health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, gosh, I think just as a manager myself, I think we need to work towards promoting empathy and asking employees what kind of support and how we can support them as we go through these transitions. Ask your people who work for you and say, "What can I do for you? How can I help you?" Right now, this is my thought, and I think this is probably so incredibly ambitious, but honestly, I think because we have DEI. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's basically it stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. For
Hmm.
any kind of DEI program, I think they should include menopause accommodations.
That would be
So
nice.
yeah,
That
so
would be
because we
awesome.
have a lot of DEI programs, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are happening right now that are kind of putting DEI aside a little bit. But I think as we go through those programs for work, I think we should kind of start practicing and putting them together. But yeah, absolutely. So many things, so many solutions. There's a ton of things that we can do. But let's talk about tips. There's a lot of things out there. Have you ever heard of symptom trackers? Like little apps on your
Well,
phone that track your symptoms.
yeah, I heard about it, but I never really tried one.
So I've been looking at them and I thought they could be very interesting, especially for somebody like you who still go through your monthly
Mhm.
cycle.
Yeah,
As you go through your cycle, and between your periods from one to the next, you could actually look and check to see if there's like a bell curve or pattern out there so that you could watch for it. And I think
that's cool
I think that could be pretty cool.
and
But
helpful. Absolutely.
yes, yes, yes. For me, dressing in layers helps because I'm either hot or I'm cold, one or the other. So I keep a jacket at my work desk all the time. And if I get a little warmer, I have a fan.
Hmm.
Yeah. Lucky for you, you manage your time. But one thing that really works for me is I've realized that I'm a little bit more focused, kind of like towards later in the day. And so
Hmm.
if I am doing
Huh.
something that, yes, if I'm, I like the silence before and
Interesting.
after my work time, but
Hmm.
I feel like after kind of like my brain starts, I don't know if it's because of the hustle and bustle of morning times during business hours. So I find that if I need to work on something that requires a lot more of my attention and focus, I kind of block my last 2 hours of the day and
Hmm.
basically not make myself available. But
That makes sense.
definitely, right? So
Mm.
scheduling focus heavy tasks for times that you are aware that you're a little bit more energetic and have a lot more attention to dedicate. So, and other tips. You got any other tips?
Well, for me, since I've been dealing with more of the anxiety side and the moody side of perimenopause, what helped me a lot is magnesium and ashwagandha and creatine. Those are the ones that really gave an immediate effect with me.
And
And
all of them.
then, yeah, together. And that helps also with my night sweats. I used to have night sweats. It's not a lot, but I remember having them. But ever since I've dialed in my diet, my food intake, and my natural supplements, I don't I don't get them anymore. Not that much, but I still get hot, but not as intense as it was before.
Do you think maybe it's the weather fluctuating from your location or
No, no, it's pretty much because you know
internal
when you
body
wake up
temperature?
in the middle of the night and it's just sweats here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh my
pretty
God,
sure that's what it
I've
is.
been having that. So weather in Las Vegas has been changing, and we've gotten a little bit cooler now recently. And I did like last episodes that we filmed. I was telling you that I was back to waking up again at 3 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning. So I went to the doctor, and doctor adjusted my progesterone. And then, speaking of supplements, you're talking about supplements. I had to go on magnesium glycinate. I ran out, and
Love
so
that.
going back, and I realized, oh my God, that's kind of what's been helping me. So yeah, definitely on the
It's true.
supplements. And we're talking about menopause and perimenopause at work. What I think needs to happen as well is if you are comfortable enough, educate your team. You can have these conversations at work and educate your team about your experience, what is happening to you, so that they could be aware. Because obviously, any type of awareness can definitely influence a shift on the workplace culture. So you're not going to walk around telling everybody, I'm sorry, I'm perimenopausal and I'm having hot flashes. You're not going to do that. But you're going to go out there and communicate exactly what you are going through so that they
Yes.
are aware and they understand. And I think that could definitely have a great impact in the workplace culture and how it could be better for everybody. Because, truth be told, this is 50% of everybody at work who's going to be experiencing these. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about men going through andropause themselves. We're just talking about ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's going to go through this at one point or another. And so, if everybody's a little bit more aware, I think they could be a little bit more understanding. We're very aware of what happens to kids when they go through puberty, so there's no reason for us to not go through the same thing. Just my
Exactly.
thought. Right. So,
Yeah.
whew, that was a lot. Me first moment. What was your me first moment this past
Well,
week? I mean, you've been busy, crazy traveling.
exactly. Well, when we arrived here, I just took the whole day off and I was sleeping the whole day.
Do you
I
have
need
jet
that.
lag? Do you get jet lag?
Yeah, here, yeah, because we lose 5 hours at least of our time.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So yes, there's definitely jet lag, and it's still last night. I didn't get enough sleep last night. So, but yeah, I have to prioritize, especially for me, sleep. Like if I lose a good night's sleep, it takes my body 3 days to compensate for that.
Oh,
So
wow.
now I'm
You
more
said you
conscious
needed
about
eight,
that.
right? Is that right?
Yes, 7 to 8, but it has to be quality. I don't know. I'm just really very sensitive to that.
Oh,
So it's a priority.
do you do like a sleep tracker app that tells you how long you were in REM sleep and all that?
No, no, not yet. But it's something that I'm looking forward to doing.
I don't know if it's worthwhile. I
Sure.
can tell when I slept well versus when I didn't.
Yeah.
I have a routine. I have to have a minimum of six or I cannot function. But
Right.
I definitely see, and I see why you're saying this because I definitely see what kind of a difference it makes when I don't sleep well. You could see it in my face the following day.
Yes.
You look
Yeah. It impacts
tired.
productivity.
It does. It does. And so, I kind of try to get as much sleep as I can. And, when people say, I really should get 78 hours, and you want them all together, like
Yeah.
all the same.
That's why that's why businesses, they really have to work on supporting women in menopause because it affects their business. It affects a
Oh,
woman's
absolutely.
productivity. It affects the business. So it should be a priority.
Honestly, speaking of productivity, I actually do not think that 100% of businesses are actually measuring productivity, like utilization. So there's a calculation that you can actually do
Hmm.
when it comes to how much productivity you get out of your staff. And I actually have a utilization calculator myself. And on the average, you would get max 75 to 80% utilization from your staff. Now, imagine if you have a woman going through perimenopause or menopause and having these like physical symptoms manifesting that's kind of impacting rest and relaxation. I'm pretty sure the productivity goes down significantly. So
Yeah, for sure.
definitely agree on that one.
Yeah.
I was talking about this in terms of tips. So my me first moment really is getting a little bit more comfortable in discussing symptoms. And one way that I can share that I've found works for me is I work with a lot of women too. And I noticed that, when they go through different things, I say, have you had your hormones checked?
Ah, oh my gosh, I do that too. Yeah.
Yes. Do you? Do you? I do. I totally do. I go, and I am proud to say I've probably convinced 4 women at work now to get their hormones checked. And you'd be surprised. Oh, I've been wanting to share this with you too. You'd be surprised how many of them actually say, "Oh my God, I just started on hormones because they told me I couldn't go through it." And I'm like, why not? Right.
Right?
And then yes. And then I tell them I've been on hormones for a year because it's like over a year now since I got on it July 2024. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
4 women were like, I just started
Wow.
it. They told me it's bad for me. And I've had a colleague because she had a similar experience than I did
Mm-hmm.
as me, where her primary doctor was like, "Nah, you're fine." And I was like, I don't know, go get it checked anyway. You need to advocate for yourself this time around
Yes.
because, yes, right? I'm not necessarily questioning the doctor's abilities and knowledge and
Mm.
education. I'm just saying
No.
they don't have all of it. And
Yeah, they're not updated
you,
too.
yes, you need to take control of advocating for yourself, do
Yes.
your research. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'm really excited about that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I don't remember if I told you, but before I had my progesterone, I went to 2 doctors and they told me the same thing. You're too young, but nothing's helping. And I track
Yeah,
my symptoms. Say, yeah, advocate for yourself because it does happen.
absolutely. Absolutely. But we are now at the end of episode 18. This was really good conversation.
It is.
But before we closed, I want to remind everybody that your career and your health can coexist. So I want to remind everybody to tag the Me First podcast. We are inviting you to be part of the Me First movement because we are getting ready to launch. So exciting. Be part of the first few who get to experience our product so that you can see for yourself what difference it makes. Always like, follow, share, subscribe to our podcast, and go to our socials. It's at the Awenda. We are available on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and your Me First podcast on YouTube. I want to wish everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We will see you next time. Have a nice day.